You know that feeling? You want something so badly, it feels like an obsession. That promotion, a new phone, maybe even a specific person. And you tell yourself, if I can just get this one thing, I will finally be satisfied. But then you get it, and the feeling just evaporates. You're right back where you started, already scanning the horizon for the next thing you don't have. This cycle is not an accident. You achieve the goal, you get the thing, but the satisfaction is so brief, so fleeting, that the hunt for something new begins almost immediately. So why? Why is your brain built this way? Why does getting what you want feel like the finish line is constantly moving? So let's be very clear about something. This feeling isn't some kind of personal failure. It's not a sign that you're ungrateful or broken. It is a fundamental, hardwired feature of your neural architecture. And today, we're going to dismantle that architecture piece by piece. To really get this, we have to start with the hardware. You've probably heard that dopamine is the pleasure molecule. Well, that's a myth. And it's one of the most critical misunderstandings of how your own motivation actually works. See, dopamine isn't about pleasure at all. It's about pursuit. Neurobiologists have found two completely separate systems operating in your brain. You have a wanting system, and that's driven by dopamine. It's the engine of the chase. Then you have a liking system, which is driven by opioids, and that's the actual feeling of enjoyment. Now, here's the absolutely wild part. These two systems are completely uncoupled. You can be wired to intensely want something that you don't even like all that much once you get it. So this whole wanting system, it's powered by something called reward prediction error. Your dopamine neurons don't fire when you get a reward. They fire when reality is better than you expected, or, and this is key, when the outcome is uncertain. They are obsessed with the possibility of reward, not the reward itself. It's a teaching signal, and it's basically screaming, pay attention, the hunt is what matters. Look at this. This is the chemical high, right here in a chart. The dopamine spike, it happens during anticipation. The moment the reward is actually received, it plummets. This is exactly why the notification of a text message is chemically more exciting than the text itself. The notification is pure potential. The opened message, that's just information. Your brain is wired to value the search far, far more than the find. Okay, so your brain has this internal glitch that values wanting over having. But how does it decide what to want in the first place? Well, it turns out most of your deepest, most intense desires, they aren't even yours. They're borrowed from a powerful external force, other people. The philosopher Rene Girard came up with something he called mimetic theory. He argued that we don't just desire things in a vacuum. We learn what to want by imitating the desires of others. We see something being valued by someone else, a model, and we instantly, almost unconsciously, infer that it must be valuable too. This builds into what Girard called the triangle of desire. So there's you, the subject. There's an object. But the desire doesn't connect in a straight line. No, it's mediated through a model, someone you admire or maybe even envy. You see them wanting the object, and suddenly you want it too. But here's the trap. You're not just chasing the object. You're unconsciously chasing the perceived status of the model. You're thinking, if I have what they have, I will be who they are. And this isn't just some abstract philosophy. Neuroscience completely validates it. There's a phenomenon called goal contagion. It shows that when we simply observe someone reaching for an object, our own brain's valuation system literally activates. Watching someone else want something rewires our brain to value that object more. Their goal becomes our goal. Now, this system has a really dangerous consequence. Because when we all copy the same popular models, we all start to desire the same scarce things, the same jobs, the same neighborhoods, the same status symbols. This creates what's called mimetic rivalry. We become competitors, and soon the rivalry itself becomes more intense than the desire for the original object. This is the engine that drives FOMO, that drives market bubbles, and that fuels endless social competition. So, we've got an internal glitch and an external puppeteer. Now let's add the third layer, the environmental weapon. What happens when the world around you tells you that you can't have something? Feel that? That little pull? That immediate flicker of curiosity? That subtle desire to just defy the instruction? That feeling has a name, and it is one of the most powerful forces that controls your behavior. It's called psychological reactance. The moment your freedom to choose is threatened or eliminated, your brain triggers a powerful motivational state to restore that freedom. The restriction itself acts as a signal of value. You want the forbidden option more simply because it's forbidden.
This is precisely what marketers weaponize with scarcity triggers, like limited time offers or exclusive drops. Scarcity hijacks your brain by signaling two things at once. First, it implies mimetic value. If it's scarce, other people must want it. And second, it threatens your autonomy. If you don't act now, you will lose the freedom to ever choose this again. Your rational evaluation just shuts down.
All right, so we have a brain that prefers wanting to having, copies its desires from other people, and craves whatever it can't have. It really seems like a closed system, a trap. But it's not. Once you understand the architecture, you can start to write a counterprogram. The outcome of this entire system we've just described is what psychologists call hedonic adaptation. You've probably heard it called the hedonic treadmill. It means your brain is designed to return to a baseline level of happiness, no matter what happens. This is why a new car, a pay raise, a big win, it only provides a temporary boost. Our goal is to escape this treadmill. So how do we actually do it? Well, first, we can use temptation bundling. You link a high dopamine want, like listening to your favorite podcast, with a productive should, like going for a run. You're hijacking the wanting system for your own benefit. Second, stop chasing hedonic pleasure and start chasing eudaimonia, things like meaning, growth, and deep connection. These pursuits are remarkably resistant to an adaptation. And finally, you can flip reactance on its head. Instead of FOMO, the fear of missing out, you can consciously practice JOMO, the joy of missing out. By deliberately choosing to opt out, you reclaim the very autonomy your brain craves. Look, understanding this architecture of perpetual want, it's not about assigning blame. It's about reclaiming control. The grass isn't greener on the other side. It's greener where you decide to water it. Your brain is a hunter. It's wired to pursue. The only question left is, what will you consciously choose to aim it at?